I'm joined by University of Central Oklahoma defensive tackle Hunter Largent. Hunter, thank you for taking time this evening to come on and talk to me. Could you start by telling the viewers and listeners out there a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a sophomore now, or sorry, junior now. It's switched up on me a lot. Been here going about to finish my third year. I'm from Goudeau, Oklahoma, which is like 45 minutes south of Edmond, so I'm not that far from home. Yeah, I've been here, but this is my third spring, so I'm about to finish up my third year. It's crazy because I feel like I just got here. It's weird. Now I feel like an old head.
Now, for those of us that maybe aren't too familiar with Noble, kind of what does football mean to the city of Noble?
Pretty much everything. 'Cause there's not much more going on around there. I mean, we're 5A. Like people think we're smaller than we are. Like we're not getting that much respect, but we're a decent sized school. But still, it means the same like small hometown kind of crowd. Great atmosphere to play in. I mean, I loved it. I was blessed with like really good coaches coming up. The whole town supported the football team. We've always been a good atmosphere to play in. So it was like I couldn't pick a better hometown to come from than Noble, really.
And then your senior season, you managed to earn all-state honors. That's something that not everybody has the opportunity to do. So being an all-state guy, what did that and what does that still mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, it's always something I can always look back at and just know that that's something that I achieved. Because like you said, not everyone can achieve that. It still means a lot to me. I still see my all-state jacket in my closet when I get in my closet, stuff like that. So it still definitely means something to me because it's something that I feel like a lot of people strive for in high school as far as like being like a high school goal for someone to make all-state and have the ability to play in the game. And I even lucked out when I played in the all-state game. There was 13 UCO commits playing in the all-state game that year. And out of the 13, 12 of us were on the west side, which is the side I played for. So it was even more, progressive for me as far as I got to play with my future teammates at the collegiate level. So it meant a lot to me.
And how much did that kind of help really kind of being able to form those bonds, those friendships with guys that you will be playing with at the next level?
It helped a lot. I mean, it was fun because, when you do the all-state, as far as like the practices go, you really have a lot of time to like cut it up and talk and as far as to create those bonds. So when we got here in the summer for UCO, we kind of hit the ground running. I mean, there was not that week or two process where everyone was kind of filling each other out and like didn't really know each other. We hit the ground running and went straight into having that bond, and especially going through like that transition from high school to college as far as conditioning wise in the summer. You need your teammates to lean on, and when you need the extra motivation and help and getting there every day and showing up on time, you have that extra bond, extra person to lean on as far as helping you go. So it really helped us out that we were all that talented to play on the all-state. So it gave us that extra leverage, I guess, to play.
Now, you mentioned talented. Now, I have to say, I'm not going to lie. When I was watching the 2020 signing day class, I was watching the film. I'm not going to lie to you, Hunter. I had to watch the tape several times because I had a hard time believing what I was seeing. There was one play, and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm about to talk about here. You tackled the center into the running back. Okay, walk me through that because that's how you – how are you able to do that?
I don't know. I just lucked out. I've always had the strength side of mine because I'm not like the tallest guy. I'm only like 6'1" on my best day. And so I've always had to lean on my strength. So I guess I just, when you go on the field, stuff goes, you're thinking stuff like that on the go. And I guess when in doubt, just start tackling people pretty much. And so it just kind of happens. That when you see the ball carrier and people get your way, you just, it just happens. So sometimes it just relies on your strength.
But, and another thing too, you were so quick off the ball. So like, where does that timing come from? Being able to fire like as soon as that ball is snapped, you're firing off the line. Like, was that something you just developed over time, or were you just always naturally good at firing off the ball as soon as it was snapped?
I think really what I have to credit it to is really wrestling, because going into like my junior high years, like obviously the goal was always to play football, like no matter what. But I was always told if you wrestle, it's gonna make you a better football player. And I was always game to do anything that was gonna help me perfect my craft. And so as far as like the twitchiness and the movement and like it's like playing with leverage and getting off the ball real fast, all that's really credited to wrestling. Yes, a lot of it comes from drill work and football and just doing live reps. So I guess it was always just a combination of my drill work, how I worked out, and my wrestling ability. So, I mean, I was always kind of gifted as far as the wrestling aspect went, as far as like being this big, but still having that twitchiness to me. And I guess I always played both fields, especially wrestling, playing as a heavyweight or wrestling as a heavyweight. A lot of people don't expect a fast heavyweight, so I always played to my advantage, and it always carried over to football on the football field.
Now you mentioned wrestling. I talked to your former teammate Trayvon Craig and then Peyton Scott as well, because they were wrestlers, and they mentioned about how different the training is from football to wrestling. So, like, how were you kind of able to go back like between the two, because it's two completely different skills that's kind of utilized?
I don't know. I mean, it helped me in high school, because in high school, you have 8 hours. And obviously my 8th hour of the day was football. But my first hour was wrestling. So even during season, my senior year, I'd be playing the game on a Friday. But Thursday morning, I'm running 3 miles with wrestling in the morning. And then doing drills and having wrestling practice. And so he would try to take it easy. What kind of hurt is because my wrestling coach wasn't any type of football coach. So he didn't really, I guess, care. Like, he was just like, no, you're running your 3 miles because we would run a circuit around the football field. And so we would do the 12 lap, or how many laps it was. And every quarter of the lap, there was another workout to do. So whether you're doing like push-ups or doing curls to the plate, or you're doing around the head, around the world. And then those are on some days, and some days we're in the wrestling room wrestling. So it always kind of helped me. My first half of the day was wrestling. My second half was football. So I kind of had it all year long, like year round. So it kind of helped me play the both sports.
And how were you able to kind of balance that? Because, I mean, that sounds like a lot. Going from wrestling was one thing, and you go to football and it's a different thing, and you're trying to excel at both almost at the same time. So how kind of were you able to manage that?
Really just good coaches, because they would help me. Like, obviously my coaches knew what I was doing. Like, they knew like what my schedule was, and they always talked to my wrestling coach. And so like my wrestling coach would take it easy some days when I was like, hey dude, I'm playing a game tomorrow. Like, I got to take it easy today. And then, or some days if I just felt like I needed to take a step back from wrestling during football season, like I'd be like, hey, like I'm just gonna work out. Like I'm not really feeling, like, as far as my physical body is not really feeling that good. I need to rest up. Or, and after a certain time, like, as long as you have like the discipline to do it every day, your body gets accustomed to that much work. And as long as that's really when I started focusing on my diet and like how I'm working out, what I'm putting in my body, your sleep, all that stuff comes into accountability as far as how you perform on a day-to-day out basis. So it helped with good coaching and discipline throughout the school year.
And when you look back on your time at Noble as both a football player and a wrestler, what kind of sticks out to you the most?
The great times I had. We had a really good 4-year span. Like, my 4 years is really good. Like, one of the best 4-year spans Noble High School has had as far as football wise. Freshman year, we went to the playoffs for the first time in like 10, 15 years. My sophomore year, we went to the semifinals, which is the farthest Noble has ever been football wise. Junior year, we missed the playoffs, and my senior year, we went to the second round, and we were district champs. So what sticks out to me is really just what we were able to do in my 4-year span. I'm not saying that was just me, because it was everyone. I had an aspect I brought to the table, and all my other players and guys I grew up with as far as playing ball. It was just a great time and like a great period of time. It was just a fun time. Like I had a blast. I made a lot of good memories, a lot of good people, and so that's what really sticks out to me as far as the people and the memories we made.
So now, after your All-State senior season, what was that recruiting process like for you, and how did you decide that UCO is where you wanted to play your college football?
So UCO offered me kind of early. They also they recruited me per. They were the first colleges to show interest. Them and Tulsa. So them and Tulsa showed a lot of early interest. Actually, Abilene Christian, which Coach Doral was from, when Coach Doral was at Abilene Christian, they showed interest. So, but UCO was there from day one. And then they actually didn't offer me. You can ask Coach Sanders or any other coach. They actually didn't offer me until I went to a padded camp here. And I did really well. And I ended up costing a couple of O-linemen their scholarship, which is, kind of funny. But, then I got the call the next day from Russ Pickett at the time, was a defense coordinator, and he said, "You're offered, blah, blah." So, I always had a draw to UCO. I really liked the facilities up here, the people that are up here, and like how I felt as far as it not being that far from home, because I am a mama's boy. Like I like being like around home. So 45 minutes to an hour away, which is pretty close, and it just felt great. I didn't have any negative experiences here when I was getting recruited from here.
Now, it's funny that you mentioned the camp, because I was about to bring that up, and I talked to Coach Sanders last year. He mentioned the camp. He mentioned the fact that you were dominating to the point where they had to question whether or not you were that good or the linemen they had were that bad.
Yeah.
And I have to ask, when you went in that camp, did you go in there with something to prove? Like, did you go in there with saying, okay, they like me, but not enough to offer me, so let me go in there and show them why they should offer me?
Yeah, I always kind of had that chip on my shoulder, because at that time I had no offers. No school offered me. So at that point I was like, dude, like, what am I doing? Like, why am I not getting attention enough to get offers? Everyone else is getting offers, and I'm just here. So I was at that point, I was like, well, I'm just going to play really hard, and because I know what I can do. There's not a doubt in my mind. Like, I'm a pretty confident guy as far as the way I play. It's just how I play football. And I went that with the same mentality. I went a lot of camps. I just was like, I'm going to do the best I can do and show these guys why I should be here and why they want me on their team. So at that point, something like I always walk around with something to prove. But like at that point, I was at a time where I was like, this is getting a bit ridiculous. Like, where's my off? Like I've been putting in the work. What I need something to show for it. But yeah.
And so your freshman season ends up being 2020. Now, what I got, because you're going off to college, moving out first time, and you're trying to navigate a pandemic. 2020 was your freshman season? Obviously, we know that was when the COVID pandemic was going on. So first, what was it kind of like, not from just a football standpoint, but from being a freshman student in 2020?
It was crazy because, everyone talks about like college and the college experience and like just being around new people and new experiences. And then we get to college and it's like, stay in your dorm room, go to class, go to football, and then go back and study and do your homework. It was not like there was no, it was weird because everything was closed down. So it was just a weird experience as far as like everything you hear what college is like, and then you get to college for a whole year and it's nothing compared to what you are. And then it builds in like that. Like when you're doing something repetitive every day, it gets that monotonous like mutiny where it's like, oh my gosh, like dude, every day I'm doing this, and this, and I'm coming back. Like you need that constant, like you get in that grind mode. And obviously some people didn't make it through that year long just grind because there was nothing to really like, we're not going to a season. We're not doing a season. You're just coming here. We're working out. You're doing meetings. You're practicing. And then you're running. And then you're going home. Like there's not like Coach Dorr always says that Saturdays are supposed to be like they're precious. Like that's something like you earn. And we were doing all the work just to not to have that, which really kind of worked out. I mean, do I wish that we could have played a season? Yes. But it developed the guys that stuck it through. It developed that like mindset you get into as far as like pushing yourself through what you have to do to earn. Like it's just how bad do you want to play the game? There's not like sorry, roommate. It's like how bad do you want to play the game? Like how bad do you want to play? Do you want to play enough to stick through this year of work? Straight, there's nothing, just work to play the game the next year. And so it gave us that mindset of like developing that in our heads. So it was kind of a football aspect. It was a grind. It helped with schoolwork because you're not doing anything. You're doing football and you're doing homework and you're sitting in your room. So there's that aspect. So it helped with that. But that's really like it was a weird transition, I'd say.
And you kind of mentioned some of the benefit of the unfortunate circumstance. You were able to essentially have a redshirt season without, I guess, technically using a redshirt. You were able to train so how big of an impact, looking back now, like how big of an impact has that had on you, kind of having that year where all you did was practice, workout? How has that kind of helped you from a physical standpoint now?
A bunch. Technique wise, I'm grateful for that. I understand why you get a redshirt year because technique wise, because I had really good coaches in high school and I have a good D-line coach in college, but there's a transition. Like college everything is detailed as a D-lineman. I'm sure same thing for every position, but like in high school, they really just told me that he showed me a couple moves and would work more in depth with me because like he knew I had the drive to do it. But it was more or less just like see ball, get ball. Like you're talented, use your talent and out talent someone. Well, college they break down every step. Like it's a pass play. You're supposed to step this way, and that way, and that line, in that order. And so like it was a whole transition wise as far as like technique wise, and it gave me that year to develop it so then I could put it together on the field. Physical wise, my second semester I gained so much weight because I don't know what I was doing, but that's why my thing says like 350. I don't weigh 350. I weigh a solid 315 and I'm going down. Like I don't weigh that year I got really big for some reason. I don't know what I was doing, but I don't know. So that second semester, that first semester, I gained this weight. I was strong. I did gain some strength. That's when I squatted like 640, and I was putting on a bunch of numbers, but I can still do. It took me a while to get that strength while not having that much mass on me. That second semester, I lost all that weight because like this is ridiculous. And Coach Sanders was not too happy with me being that heavy. So I couldn't move. I couldn't move as good as I can now. And I'm not that fast now, but back then I really wasn't that fast. So it gave me a year to get adjusted to college as far as work-wise and as far as football-wise. And so it was a good year.
Now you mentioned that. Now I have to ask because when I talked to Dante McGee, they had him listed on the roster, I think 265. Now he made it a point to say he was not 265. Now, last year they had you listed at 345. Now, would that be an accurate? No. Okay.
No, not 345. I think the heaviest I was during season was like 330, and that was like a couple games in, and I weighed that. I was like, okay, I need to focus more on my diet wise and get myself back down. So I usually played the season from like 315 to 325, 320. If I saw myself get that heavy, I would in my head, okay, I gotta get a little bit lower down. And you could see it in my production. It's crazy. Like the beginning of the season, I would fall camp, I lose the weight. And so I would begin the season at like 305, 310, which what I need to be playing at. And you'd see me kind of go up to like 315, 320, and you'd see my production take a hit. It was like, and Sanders would delightfully point it out to me every week. And so because he'd be like, "Oh, Hunter don't have this many tackles. He must be not weighing that good." I was like, "God, okay, all right, dude." And that's constantly. I mean, but luckily I got him. Coach K and his strength staff work. They're wonderful with that and keeping me in check as far as like keep me dedicated as far as what I'm doing and hold me up to the standard of being what I need to weigh. Because that's something weight wise and doing the little things right. That's just straight discipline, which I'm not saying the most disciplined person out there, because I'm not. But that's just stuff, eating right, doing the right thing. That's just stuff that if you want to play college football, I believe you just got to be able to do that, because it's not hard. I mean, yes, there's days where I wake up and I'm like, man, I really don't like. I'm not feeling treatment today. I'm not feeling going and walk on the treadmill for an hour. I'm not feeling like there's days where I have that, but it's the point of like knowing that if I don't do that, I can't perform at what I could possibly be. And that's just taken away from my teammates and my coaches. So it's just the way you got to look at it, I guess. I don't know what that starting question was. I know I just rambled, but I get sorry. I do that a lot. God was doing me. So I'll start on one thing, I'll just start rambling off to something completely different. So I don't know. I forgot what the original question was. I'm not gonna lie.
No. You answered the question because it was the hedge list at 3:45 last year.
Yeah. See, it should have just been a no question. Like, no, I didn't wait that much. But here I go on like 20 minutes still about something.
Now, okay, so now you mentioned you kind of fluctuate there in weight. So kind of how do you go about kind of managing that to get it to your optimal playing weight?
Really just what I eat, how many times I eat a day. So like I said, thank God for Sanders and Coach K and his strength staff, because they helped me out so much. Like I did it wrong. Like in high school, my dieting was not right, because I was under the impression the less you eat, like completely, the more weight you're going to lose, which is not necessarily the case. I mean, when I lose the most weight is when I'm eating like 5 times a day in really small quantities. Like I wake up, I eat around like 7 a.m., eat at 7, eat something small at 9, like a tuna packet, eat like chicken and rice, and usually I do chicken and rice and green beans, or chicken and rice and asparagus, smaller quantity. Eat again at 2 o'clock, which is like a tuna packet, and then again around like 5 to 6. And that for me helps me maintain with working out and running and all that stuff. Helps me the best lose weight and maintain weight.
Yeah. And now going back, so you have 2020, pretty much you get the redshirt year, you work hard, you're getting strength, getting condition. You have the spring scrimmage against Southern Nazarene. What was that experience like, first just getting back out on the field, hitting somebody other than yourselves, and kind of getting that first taste of college football, so to speak?
It was good. We were hungry, man. We waited a long time for that one scrimmage, and it was great. Like I said, since the All-State game in the summer after my senior year, that was the first time, like you said, I've hit someone other than my teammate, and it was good. And it was good for me to show like my coaches what I can do and stuff like that. Like, it was a good experience. It was really fun. Had fun with the guys. Southern Nazarene were good, good team to actually scrimmage against. They're real close by, stuff like that. It was a good experience. It was fun.
And then during your freshman season, you played in every game. You had 29 tackles. You had 5 for loss. You had a few games you had 5 tackles. A few games you had 3 tackles. I think most of I always say stats don't necessarily tell the stats when it comes to a defensive tackle, because you affect the game in so much more ways than just tackles or just TFLs. And I always try to make it a point to point that out. But that's really good numbers, though. Honestly, I mean, because you were rotating. I mean, there was a deep rotation there. The conference is one of the best in the country. So, kind of when you look back on your freshman season, did it kind of meet your expectations?
Yeah. it was weird how my goals went up and up and up because when I went into that season after that year of COVID, I just in my mind like I didn't know of course I knew where I stacked up and I knew in my mind what I thought I could do and where everyone has a thought of where they should be on the depth chart. Everyone does, and my initial goal was I just want to make the travel squad. I just want to travel because at that time I'm battling with JoJo Roque. And I don't know if I'm saying his last name wrong. He's going to get mad at me for saying it wrong. Him, Stessie Salt, Vaca. Like, I'm having all these guys. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to travel. I just want to travel, be with the team and help. And then we get into the season, and it kind of played in my favor a little bit because Stessie moved from nose to tackle. And so that moved me up the depth chart. So that puts me as a 2. And then I was battling, and of course I wanted to start the spot the whole entire year. And I didn't end up getting it until like later on in the season. But I was battling, dude. And JoJo was a phenomenal player, and he was hard. It was hard to outperform that guy week in, week out. He was a veteran, did everything right, and battling with that guy all season, it was a task. And then the whole entire time I'm battling him to try to get a starting spot, I'm battling Vaca, who's right behind me and sometimes in front of me because me and him would go back and forth nonstop. And so it was just a crazy time. And Sanders, that's why he brings in so many guys because that's what I mean. I can kind of credit that to all my competition I had to play with. You know, he always says competition builds a good player and pressure makes diamonds. So I just always had to know I had to bring it every practice, every week, and perform every game. If not, my spot's gone. And I still have that because now Zane is behind me at nose. So that's awesome. So, you know, I have to battle him every week. And then I have to come home and see him. So that's awesome too. Love that. Because now I'm like, God, dude. And he did pretty good today. And so I was like, and I got home and see him, his ugly mug. So that's awesome. But I mean,
now there were two games that really stuck out to me. The first one from that 2020-21 season was the Northwest Missouri game. Now I know it didn't go your way in the scoreboard, but that first half especially. They could doing nothing offensively, and it was mainly due to the effort of you guys up front. What was kind of working for you all in that game? Because that's a premier program, and at times you were stonewalling them at the point of attack. So what was kind of working for you all against Northwest Missouri?
We had a great game plan that game, and we had a great game plan. We stuck to it. In D-line, we played phenomenal. Obviously, like I said, it didn't go our way. But we were playing really stout defense in the first half. And the first initial, they scored right before the first half, or right in the first half. And that kind of obviously takes a little chip off the armor when you go into halftime because they score with 7 seconds left. They throw a Hail Mary. But what helped us out really was just we played, as far as a unit-wise, we played together. Everyone did their 111th. Everyone did their initial job. They weren't worried about making the play necessarily. They were worried about doing their job and doing what their responsibility was on that play. And so I think that's what really helped us out, play that sound defense in that half.
And then against Northeastern State, you had the sack. Now I gotta say, I was watching that on the live stream. You had, I believe it was a spin move. You spun off the lineman. Yeah. And you flattened the poor quarterback. Now, you could just walk me through that because it happened so quick. It's like the ball was snapped, and the next thing you know, I see number 68 in the backfield making the sack. So kind of walk me through how you were able to get back there so fast.
I just, as a nose guard, we don't get too many one-on-ones. There's not that many opportunities where I have. It's just me and an O-lineman, and if I beat that one O-lineman, I'm getting back there. Most of the time, I'm doubled, so like you said, sometimes the stats don't always show what we're doing as far as the D-line. So it's the dirty work of doing it. I'm taking up multiple guys so my backer can make the play. That's what I'm doing, especially as a nose guard. But through that play, I got my one-on-one, which I wanted, and so I can show my pass rush ability because I do have some, okay? People always say I don't, but I do. I promise you it's there. But I'm just always trying to find opportunity to show it. I got my opportunity. I set the move up right, and of course the spin move. Sanders hates it when I spin most time, but that one he couldn't really say much about, so that was a little cherry on top because I had to come on. I came off field, and he had to like tell me good job for spinning, and so that's always a plus. So yeah, I mean, spin move in my book always works, and Sanders' book should never do it, but it's all right.
Now, I know that season it didn't end how you wanted to. There was a lot of close losses in there, and then Coach Bobek obviously leaves. Coach Doral comes in. So what was that adjustment, that early adjustment period like, going from Coach Bobek to Coach Doral?
Both phenomenal coaches. I really like Bobek. There's nothing bad to say about that man as far as my opinion. And Doral, great coach. It was weird because we had that 2-week period, 3-week period, however long it was, where we didn't have a coach. So we really didn't have a coaching staff. Some of the staff members stayed around. Landry, Sanders, a couple of them stayed around. So they were kind of like, we're thankful for them. We're thankful for them because they stuck around and help us. Because when stuff like that happens, it's really easy for a player to just fall off the kind of deep end, like not do his classwork. Because some of the players, they need that coach to sit there like, did you do this today? Do this, this, and this. So it's really easy for people to fall off in that transition period. But I think we handled it great. We're grateful as far as D-line for having Sanders back because, he's a good coach. But that transition was a good experience. It was a good experience. I definitely like Bobek, but Doral and them coming in, they handled the transition really well because a lot of coaches will come in and they'll just cut half the team and bring half their old team, and they didn't do that. They came in, they gave all of us a shot to prove ourselves, and it was because of the way they handled it, it was a good experience because not all coaching staff changes are good experience for players, but they handled that right way, especially the staff. So yeah, overall, it was a good experience for what happened.
And then from a schematic standpoint, I know the defense changed some under Coach Lechtenberg. What was that adjustment period like? Kind of going from, I think it was like more of a 4-2-5 to more of a 3-3-5. What was that adjustment period like?
Really, it just means like we're actually talking about today as a defensive line. It just goes from when we have that 4-man front, it puts the D lines more in position as far as like the scheme wise to make the play. Switching it to the base 3-man front works really well with our personnel. It's a good defense to run, but it puts us in more where we have to rely. We have to do our job and put in the extra work and be just ball players and make those plays to make our TFLs, to make our stats look out so we stand out and we do our job. Like we got to do the dirty work, which is where our pretty linebackers can just run and make a play because we have 2 alignment on us. So they can just run in there and make the play. We got to do our dirty work. But luckily, Sanders has a talented D-line where we can battle through the 2 guys or battle through whatever we have to do and make the play. So the transition-wise is more of – it really didn't change for me. Like I really stay in a head-up to shade, sometimes a 2-eye. I really don't leave that zone unless I'm playing like a tackle, which – doesn't really happen that much, even though I really want to. So shout out to Sanders for not moving me over. So it really didn't change that much for me. I'm sure the other guys could probably add in a little bit more as far as how they feel about it. But I know everyone's happy with the defense and how Lech runs it. It's a great defense, worked out for us. We have outstanding performances with it. So, like I said, good transition. But those transitions really – they only really click how the coach handles it, really, from my opinion on it. Lech and them gave us the time to adjust to his new defense, work with us as we were kind of learning and working like the way he wants to do it, because every coach does a drill a different way. Everyone, they all have their different opinions on how they do certain things. And so when you learn it a certain way with one coach for a long time, it's good to have that new coach understand, give you the time, give you the coaching, give you the patience to have patience with you to learn his way and his aspects of the game. So it was a good. I mean, yeah.
And when I think what stuck out the most to me watching you this past season, I felt like at some point sometimes you kind of were an unsung hero here, because I think it was the Kearney game, Washburn game. At various points in the season, you were facing double and triple teams, and that's allowing the Robert Fuentes, the Michael Slaters, the Noah West of the world to get those favorable matchups. And I think that sometimes goes overlooked when you're just looking at pure numbers. But what really impressed me is even in those times of you getting double and triple team, you were still pushing the pocket. Like, you're still pushing three really big individuals back, like alone. So kind of how are you able to handle those double, those triple teams and still affect the pass or still push the pocket?
It's just you gotta be a different breed to be a nose guard. 100%. You can tell any of my ends that want to disagree with me. You gotta be a dog to be a nose guard. Zane knows it. Everyone who's played nose guard knows. Really, it's just it just boils down because you get to rely on your technique, your strength, and pretty much where you gotta know your advantages. My advantages. I'm not the tallest guy. Like I said, 6'1" at my best day. So I have better leverage on most of the taller O linemen, and I don't lack in the strength as far as strength wise goes. And as far as get off wise, I have a pretty good get off. So using my advantages and what I have, and just using what I can do to outperform or out leverage or put myself in a position where, yes, I have two guys on me or whatever. But just knowing that I may not make the sack, but I give guys like Rob Fuentes, like you said, the one-on-one where he can go and make it, which to me, a sack's a sack, TFL's TFL. As long as our defense and our team is playing to the boundaries where they can and going to the limits where I know how we can play and where we play, I don't care. I'll take on double teams. I'll take on triple teams. It does not matter to me. Yes, Sanders has to hear me complain in the meetings where I'm like, if I wasn't getting triple team, I'd be making more TFLs. Yes, he has to hear that. But you got to look at the whole product of it. I mean, we play good defense. What we do what we do, and are very high, and we're very efficient with it. So, like I said, it's rambled off on your question. But just pretty much play your advantage. Know what you're good at and stick to that. And while you're sticking to that, work on what you're not good at. It's kind of a basic answer, I guess. But
and even given that you still were the 11th leading tackler last season, 28 tackles, There's not, like you mentioned, being nose guard is very tough. It's not glamorous at all whatsoever, but it's really a key position. Like, I can't tell you how many times I was watching you all play in the interior run defense. I just could not speak enough good things about them the majority of the time, and you were a big factor into that. And so I was just maybe not everybody kind of understands your role, sees what you're doing. I was a huge fan of the play. I made it a point every time I could to point it out. Like, this man's doing great work on the interior. It's really helping Rob. It's helping Mike. So I just wanted you to know the Cho Show, though, really does appreciate quality nose guard play. I appreciate it. Yeah. So now looking. You had a winning season last year. You made progress. The defense was not only one of the best in the conference, but in the country as a whole. You started spring this week. Obviously, you lost 3 players to graduation: Robert, Michael, and Jordan LaVue. So kind of now, Mike and Rob were key guys. Let's call it what it is. They're key guys, but like you mentioned before, it's a very deep, talented unit. So what kind of is you all's mindset going into spring ball this year?
That we all just need to work on. We know what it is to lose. We lost 2 starters. But like you said, luckily for us, we're very talented. We have really good depth, and then we also have the fact that Sanders is bringing in more guys. So, but we know with the guys we have now, we know that right now we're a solid unit. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I have no doubt in the D line. I will never have doubt in them. I know the guys I'm playing next to. I've known them for a long time. I lived with one of them. I know they do. I know they do little things right. I know, and we know as a unit that as long as we keep getting better and better and better, the sky's the limit for us. We have a real good coach. We have a really good attitude, and it just kind of puts like when you have the two guys, like you have a Rob and a Slater, and you have them on the thing, and they're really good players. They make a lot of plays, and so they get that light. So it gives us that little that extra motivating. Like we want to be the guy. Like we're gonna be the guys, and we're really talented across the board. I mean, Zane, Zachary Stillwell, I'm really excited to see how he plays. He's coming up. Cal's doing really well this spring. But as a unit, Mike, I don't want to leave him out because he's about to be in my house and he'll get mad if I don't leave him out. They're all talented. There's not a guy, and then we just brought in a couple new guys, and we're really excited to see what they're going to do. We know we're talented, but we're confident enough to know what we can do, but we're humble enough to keep working on it, if that makes sense.
Now you mentioned Coach Sanders a lot during the interview. So what is it like playing for Coach Sanders?
Oh man, it's a blast. I love it. No, I lucked out because all the positions lost their position coach as far as the rest of the team. We didn't. We lucked out. It's been good. He got here literally like the same time I did. So when I got on campus, he got on campus. So we kind of as a group in my grade and him, we kind of learned everything together. It's good. He's a good coach. The only thing I disagree with him on is the spin thing. I think it works great, but he don't agree. But it's okay. And if I had to hear one more thing about East Texas, supposedly, as far as him, they have the best football on the planet. I don't know why. But if I had to hear one more thing about that, that's getting kind of annoying. So that's the point. Let's put that out. That and the spin thing. Other than those two things, it's a great experience. I'm glad to have a D-line coach I can get along with as far as that aspect goes.
And then I guess finally here, what as a D-line, what are you all hoping to accomplish coming out of spring ball this year?
Coming out of spring ball, we just want to grow more as a unit. I'd say we always have as far as D-line goes, we have a strong bond. We're always together. We're always around each other. So I think more we want to grow as far as keep growing as far as the bond aspect goes and being a lead position group of this team. We want to establish ourselves like we have in the past. In the past, we've always established ourselves as one of the best position groups the team has. And whether or not we know in our heads, that's our thought process. We perform at this high level. We want the defense, the offense. We want to know when we go on the field that I don't have to worry about it because D-line is going to perform. I don't want people to have doubts in our mind as far as what we can do as a position group. So I think every position has to go through that process during spring ball. When you lose guys, you get new guys, you have to reprove yourself as a unit. So there's not you can't just keep on claiming the same thing when you haven't proved. You got to reprove yourself as a unit. So I think that we just want to master our craft more and prove ourselves to be a reliable and a very disciplined unit altogether.
Well, but before I get you out of here, we do this with all the new guests, kind of some more get to know you type questions. So, your favorite sports team could be any sport.
Probably the Green Bay Packers, which I don't know what they're doing right now. And if any San Fran fans want to smoke, they can come at me, especially Jordan Levu. If he watches this, just know that San Francisco is not that good, but everyone thinks they are. So that was a daily battle. But yeah, Green Bay Packers, 100%.
Now, because your former teammate Dante McGee was also a Packers fan. I feel obligated to ask this question now because it seems like at some point Aaron Rodgers to the Jets is a foregone conclusion. So I have to ask, do you have faith in Jordan Love?
All the faith, man. I'm a Packer fan through and through. I have faith in Jordan Love. I'm not worried about it. It's kind of a touchy subject. I'm glad you brought it up. Bo A-Rod is going to leave because I've never been a fan. Since I've liked the Packers since I was a little kid. Rodgers has been there. I didn't have any of the Favre years. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't old enough to be a fan when the Favre was quarterback. I know what he did as a Green Bay Packer, but Aaron Rodgers has been my favorite quarterback since growing up till now, and now it's looking like he's not going to be on my team, which sucks. But I have faith in Jordan Love.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, now as a defensive lineman, do you have a favorite defensive lineman out there that you just enjoy watching?
I go back and forth. I like Darnold because he's a shorter guy. But I also like Vita Veo. I don't know if I'm saying he's the Buccaneers nose guard. I really like that dude. I like how they play. I like them because he's so physical. But I go back and forth. Those two guys though.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, your favorite hobby outside of football?
Usually, if it was before college football, I'd say hunting. I'm a real big hunter, but during football, during college football, I don't really have time for it. But lately, I've been golfing. I love golf. It's a really fun time. So I'd say probably golf right now.
Okay. Let's see. Do you play video games at all?
I do. I kind of go back and forth, but I play I go back. I got big into Warzone, and then I started playing more campaign games, and now I'm playing. My Lord, I was already playing today. The F1. I don't know if you know what the Formula One racing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I play that game a lot. I can play that online because I watched the series on Netflix, and I really like the sport. But that, like Rainbow Six Siege, stuff like that.
Now, are we Xbox, PlayStation, or PC?
I guess traditionally I'm an Xbox player, but I have a PS4 also. So I don't have any of the new gens, which just kind of makes me mad. But maybe we need to tell Doral to pay me more so I can go buy a PS5 or something. So if you can get that message to him, that'd work out great. I don't have any new. I have a PS4 and an Xbox One, so I'm kind of both. I play both.
Now, I know some might say you can't really play both sides of the fence.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm on the side. I'm gonna say PS4 because it's PlayStation. I like PlayStation more. When I get to next gen, it will be the PS5. So I'm saying PlayStation through and through.
Okay. That's so now currently, because Francisco Moreno has graduated, the only Xbox people on the team is Coach Doral, Coach Curley, Bo Phelps, and Mason Willingham. Those are the only Xbox guys. The rest are PlayStation. So I always just ask them.
Yeah. It's weird because I went back and forth. It's weird. I had a PS4. My first thing was a PS4, and then all my high school friends or all my friends at the time, they all played Xbox. I was like, well, I got to get an Xbox. So I traded my PS4 for an Xbox, and I've had that same Xbox I have now, Xbox One, since I was like a 8th grader. And then just recently, I got a PS4 because one of my buddies got a PS5. He's like, well, I don't need my PS4 no more. I was like, well, let me see it. Because I just wanted to play God of War. I don't know if you played that before, but I wanted to play God of War, which is only on PlayStation. So,
okay, I got you. Now I usually ask this because it's been brought to my attention that the aux cord in the locker room is not a place for the weak. Now, I've also been told, and I just relaying what I have been told here again, usually when I ask who is the best and the worst on the aux, Hunter, I'm not going to lie to you.
Did they say
they say you, Jace Gardner, and Andrew Carney is the overwhelming that say the worst on the ox. I'm gonna give you an opportunity here.
That is crazy because no. They got it all wrong. Which I'm sure in their head, they're just not cultured to country music to what it is, and they need to get educated as far as like what good music is. They just don't know. And I'm really not on it that much. Like when there's obviously I know what like everyone wants to hear rap or like they don't want to hear country. They don't want to hear country, which I listen to country like 85% of the time. So like I usually won't get on aux because I like rap, I like everything. So I won't get on the aux if a bunch of people are in there. Usually, like after workout, it's on like defense or just at the D line. I'll get on and I'll play whatever I want to play. But yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Now I'm not the worst. Now Jace Gardner, terrible. Jonathan Mosley, terrible. Andrew Carney, I don't remember him being on the aux. I'm sure he's terrible. Who's another one? I'll call him out. Rob Fuentes, terrible. Let's see. Let's keep naming them out. Trell Cozart is like 50-50. Halftime, he's terrible too. But other time, he plays pretty good. So I can just randomly, since they want to call me bad, I'm going to start calling them out. They're bad out calling.
Now I will say, when I talked to Jacob Delso, he said it wasn't the fact that it was country. He just felt like the choice of the country was what made it bad.
They just want to listen to mainstream country. That's not real country. It's not. The Florida Georgia line and all that stuff is not country. That's not. It's just not. They want to listen to that, and I'm not listening to that when I'm on aux. Not happening.
So okay, so what are we calling the real country music?
Turnpike Troubadours. Look them up. Tyler Childers, Zach Bryan, Co Etzel, Dylan Wheeler, also like Johnny Cash, Hank Williams Jr., Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard. What's some other? I can probably keep going as far as those are like the main ones that come to the top of my head. That's real. Luke Combs on the line. He flirts with the line a little bit. Morgan Wallen, I like him sometimes. That's like country. You got like different types. You got like the bro country, which is like the Florida Georgia line and all that garbage, which is not good. And then you got like red dirt, which is like Turnpike, Co Etzel, Tyler Childers, Zach Bryan, stuff like. Then you got like honky tonk, which is like the old like when you'd hear in like an old bar, like which would be like Hank Williams Jr., the Merle Haggards, the Waylon Jennings, the Johnny Cashes, the people like that, the older. I mean, that's like honky tonk country. So in my mind, there's like 3 different countries. But of course, I mean, I'm not saying I'm right, but in my mind, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned Jace was among the worst. Now, I've been told it's sometimes not so much the music he plays; it's just the timing of it. I think it might have been Bryson Williams told me he put on some R&B Drake for a morning work.
I'm not listening to that, dude. Like I'm not like I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. and listen to stuff that makes me want to go to sleep. That's not. Well, it's just Jordan. Sorry. Yes, 52. Sorry, I didn't see your snap. Sorry, I didn't mean the interruption. But yeah, I'm not listening to that. Oh, can I ask Jordan what he thinks? What he thinks is the worst?
Sure.
Jordan, who is the worst aux player on the team? Dog, quick ground.
Who did you say?
I said Jace. I said Jace, Jonathan Mosley. Mosley's another one. He plays like the back. He plays at the wrong time. I'm not trying to be there at 5 a.m. listening to R&B to put me back to sleep. I'm not doing that. Play some like Rob
Givens. Yeah, Givens.
Bro, Givens. I forgot about him. Terrible. Don't listen to him.
Those are 2 good ones, though.
Yeah.
Those are 2
Jason
really
Rob Givens. I forgot about him. He almost good thing I asked Jordan. But yeah, you got to know what we're trying to listen to. And like, if I get there early in the morning, I want to hear some rock. I want to hear something that gets me going. I'm not trying to listen to love music. I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to squat 500 pounds listening to Bill Withers. I'm not. That's no great artist. Love his songs, but that's not what I'm rocking with when I'm trying to work out. It's not happening.
So all right, I'm glad you were able to clear the air.
Yeah.
Because there had
Clear
been
the air
several
right
that said that.
That's
Yeah, I want to get you a chance to clear the air. Now you mentioned a lot of different country artists. So, which one would you say is your favorite?
Oh, see, that's like a 45-minute conversation. I'll make it short though for you. Oh my Lord, I'd probably say. Well, I said there's Red Dirt and there's like Honky Tonk. So I'll say probably Coetzel, probably for Red Dirt or Zach Bryan, and then for Honky Tonk is Hank Williams Jr. That's the king of honky tonk music. But probably those two or three, however many I said.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, do you have a favorite food?
Probably. I mean, probably on time, but just steak. I mean, that's probably like pretty much my favorite food. Probably steak. I eat chicken the most though because it's cheaper than steak. But.
Now, when it comes to steak, are we rare, medium rare, or well done?
Rare to medium rare. Depends on rare to medium rare. Depends on like how much. I don't know. Like I go back and forth. Rare to medium rare. If it at least doesn't have redness in it, then I don't want it. Yes, I'll eat it, but I'm not really wanting it.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. Do you have any pregame routines or rituals that you normally do?
No. Not pre-games. I have stuff I stick to. Like I don't change my cleats during season. I wear the same pair of cleats every game day throughout the whole entire season. I don't care if they're falling apart. I'll tape them up. I've done it since high school. Like you can go back and watch my high school film, and half my game cleats in late season are all taped up because they're falling apart. I don't change my cleats. That's pretty much it. Like I listen to music. I don't really talk that much. I don't like I just want to be in my own head and my own like mental. Like I'm trying to get my like mental like what I'm thinking, what I do in certain plays. Like I get my own space. I don't like talking.
Now I know you mentioned Mosley earlier about the bad music choices in the morning. Now he claims he, in terms of gear, is the best on the team when it comes to that. Now, would that be no? It's not okay. So then who
Sure.
would be the swaggiest?
I don't honestly. I have no clue. Steph is usually pretty swaggy. I'll give it. But he's always set right across from me, so I always see him. I really don't know, honestly. I would probably say Steph because that's who I see the most. Jordan Levu, if that dude 100%. He always had like the sleeves, the nice ties, nice socks, nice cleats, matching tape, and Jordan Levu. Now you made me think about Jordan Levu 100%. But Jonathan Mosley, no. Jordan's laughing because he know. I'll give it to him. For the most part, yes. But I really don't care. I've worn a sleeve like 2 games my whole entire life. That's like I don't get into the whole swag stuff.
But now, like you know, because I know turf burns are like a real thing. So you just roll with them, like when they happen.
I'm a man about it. I'm not like a little girl like half the team is. Who just complain and cry the half the season because of turf burn. Now I've seen some mean ones. Some of them, like my roommate Zane, he had one on his calf that got like infected, and that looked like a mean one. It was like swollen and like he's had like fevers. That was a bad one. But if I have to hear one more DB or receiver complain about a turf burn the size of a quarter on their elbow, then yeah, like no, just go with it. Rob Fuentes complained all the time too, all the time in meetings. So yeah, let that be known. That big 6'4", 230-pound dude crying because he got a turf burn the size of a damn bottle cap. I don't know. Sorry, I know like same day.
Oh, that's good. That's great. I guess my final question for you would be because the spring game is April 28th, I believe. So, what can UCO fans expect to see from you all post spring heading into the off season?
I'm sorry, you kind of broke it. Like you said, what do you expect to go in? Like expect for the spring game?
Well, like just in terms of like what can UCO fans expect to see you all like the mindset from having hopefully a good spring and then transitioning that into the off season.
Expect to see great plays made by Hunter Largent, yours truly. So expect that, and then but on a serious note, respect. Really, I want them to see like what we really can do, and like as far as the defense wise, we're looking really good. We play really well together. It sucks the players that we did lose. So like, I hope they don't yes, we lost like a couple seniors, which we're gonna miss, but I want them to. They need to expect that we have the younger guys are stepping up. They're falling into their roles. They're going from the guys who didn't travel or traveled last year but didn't play into the guys who are making the plays. They're getting the playing time. They're doing everything right. So expect to see new faces and expect to see plays made by people you don't know because guys are falling into that role really well. And I'm super excited to see what they do. So expect the new faces and expect to see great defense played and great offense played.
Well, Hunter, I appreciate you taking time out of your Wednesday evening to come on and talk to me. I know it's in the middle of spring, so no time is precious, so I really do appreciate that. And I'm wishing you, the D-line, the rest of the team, a really good spring. I hope to try to make a few practices, at least make that spring game. So I'm wishing you all the best, and anytime you want to come back on, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, sweet, man. Ask whenever you want me. Whenever you can have me on. Gosh, if I can talk. Yeah, whenever you want to have me on, man, I'm game to come on. I'm glad I finally got on here. It took a long time. As far as like you'd hit me up and then like I just forget about it because I'm so busy and I'm half dumb sometimes, so my mind just goes weird. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm pleasure to be on here. Thank you so much for having me on.
No problem, Hunter. Thank you.
All right.